So, guys, let's start this off. Welcome to the show. I'm Mark. Jem and I, we've never met. I've seen you perform. John and I, of course, know each other a little bit more better, and it's great to have you here. Back in, I don't know, was it 2006 when the first album came out? I was a huge fan right away.
Thank you.
That album was bookended by a couple of outstanding songs. The title track, Million Town, and I think another slight epically long song on the other end of it. It just hit the world by storm, I think, and it was outstanding. So how can I get a kind of an origin story of Frost? How did you guys meet up, and how did this all happen?
Well, I was doing a lot of pop stuff in the UK, working with pop acts.
Right.
And I'd been doing that for about 5 years at that point. And in hindsight, I was mad to be getting sick of it because it's lucky to do it in the first place.
Right.
But I kind of got to a point where, I sort of always listened to this sort of music or variants of it.
Right.
Because my brother who got me into it. I was originally into sort of electronic stuff like Ultravox and Visage and those kinds of Depeche Mode.
Right.
What I quite liked about prog is there was lots of keyboards, and I was thinking, well, this is quite interesting because they get to solo and stuff. So it was kind of like prog was always in my sort of world, and as I was doing more and more pop stuff and getting sort of more and more bored of it, what I would do at home is I'd go home and think, what's the kind of most antithesis-stick word genre of music I could do to balance the power of the force against pop. I thought, I know, right. I can do prog. Because I've done prog. I was in a prog band when I was in my teens. Nice. So over the course of about 6 months, maybe 9 months, basically I wrote the most. Well, I just thought it's never going to be released. I'm doing this purely for a laugh, so I'm going to make the most outrageously nonsensical, bonkers prog nonsense.
Right.
So I did. So I did all this stuff, and the album was kind of 90% done, really. Right. And I'd been doing all the guitars myself on keyboards and stuff, and I just thought, I can't get away from it. I'm going to need a guitarist, to do the kind of highlight showbiz bits. And so I bought a lot of albums to sort of hear what prog was up to at that point. I bought albums from IQ and all kinds of different Pendragon, all sorts of different acts, Arena,
right,
and this band called Kino, which was in the list. I just thought I'll buy that as well. Yeah. And I was going through them. I was thinking, no. And I put picture on and went, oh God, who's this? Who's this person? This is interesting. I like this a lot. There was some keyboard player I'd never heard of, but there was this. But John was singing and playing the guitar, and it had all that stuff that I really, really liked, because I was a big It Bites fan back in the day as well. So
right.
And John was absolutely had the tone and the melodic sense, and all those chords that I loved. Those like the sort of the majors to made all the John Barry stuff. He was doing all that, and I thought,
right,
brilliant. So I googled him, and this goes to show how far we've come in all these years of the internet.
So it wasn't Alta Vista.
I Alta Vista'd him. I Yahoo'd him, and I found a website for his studio, the Outhouse, and at the bottom of it was his email address. So,
wow.
So I emailed him completely out of the blue. I noticed that 2 days later the email address came off the website. And I emailed him, and I think it was about mid-January, and he replied to me on March the 28th. I know this because it was the day my first child was born.
Oh.
So I came back from the hospital having become a father, going, oh my God, my life's different.
Right.
And then there's an email from John going, hello, who are you? What do you want? So that my life in that day, my life changed in 2 ways quite significantly. So, I replied to him and said, I'm you've never heard of me. I've just doing this album. I wondered if you'd play on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he went, yeah. How much? So
yeah.
Straight to the point.
We agreed terms, and suddenly he was, slightly more enthusiastic than he was 2 minutes before. and a lifelong friendship was born, really. And we just we sat down and we played, and we went to the pub, and then he went home, and I finished everything off. And we just, from that moment on, he kind of was just part of the whole sound of the band, really.
Awesome.
Can't get rid of me now. Well, you can.
I don't like him, but he's very talented.
He gets that a lot, I noticed, while he was in Chicago. So
I spent my birthday in your house, Mark. Do you remember that?
That was great. Yeah, we had I think some alcohol in that day. I don't remember.
Doesn't sound like me at all.
No, but I do have more of it, just in case you happen to stop over again.
Have you got a warship? Have you got a cargo? Have you got the thing in the Suez Canal? That's probably full of wine, right? And it's heading your way. Surely.
Yeah. Well, I've got 2/5 for now, so that'll hold us over till that ship gets there, maybe.
But going back to what Jem was saying, is you know when we first did that thing, and he's absolutely right, and I'm ashamed to admit it did take me quite a while to reply to him. I remember thinking at the time, oh, this is probably some guy in his bedroom with an 8-track, you know. And then I turned up at Jem's house. It's like Ivan Novello awards everywhere, and right, okay, I've misjudged this considerably.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, to your point, though, John. I mean, you must get a lot of that type of stuff.
Not really. I mean, occasionally you get asked to play I mean, this makes me laugh. You know, somebody, you know, oh, I'm a huge fan of your guitar playing. Can you play a solo on a record? And I think, well, okay, what am I worth? And then you quote them. Oh no, well, we've only got £2.50. And I'm like, price. You kind of, you know, have to have a sense that, you know, something is worth, you know, the effort. And you know, we're all professional musicians, so you can't. I just got more used to in recent years trying to say no a bit to things, because you can't, you know, people are just going to, you know, if they're not already, get totally fed up with my face being everywhere. So, you know, perhaps lay low for a bit.
I remember I got asked, an artist who shall remain nameless.
I remember this.
Said, well, would you play piano on? I'm doing an acoustic album. Would you play piano on it? I said, yeah. How much? How many tracks? He went, all of it. And I said, yeah, okay. How much? What's in the budget? He goes, well, I just thought you'd do it.
Right. Right.
No, actually, no, I'm not. That's not going to happen.
How needy must I be, sitting around wanting to be invited to play on albums for nothing? And please take me in.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I know people that ask for for people to guest on their albums. I know on the other side, so I definitely know both sides of that conversation.
Well, there's a lot of it in progressive rock, isn't there? Let's be honest. There's a lot of cross-pollination of people like guesting on each other's albums, and it's like every payment in kind, and you know, you never quite. It's I don't know. I mean, It's I just think this year it's you know, time to, you know, I just think that, you know, I just think it's important, you know, to as Jem I would agree, it's to say no occasionally, you know. It's just as a powerful word as yes.
Right. And it's not like you guys aren't doing anything. That's opportunity cost of something else you could be doing. Yeah. So let's talk about how this new album came about. Would this happen to be a byproduct, like a good byproduct of the pandemic, or was this going to happen either way, do you think? Your collaboration on the fourth studio album?
Enough, John.
Well, we started writing it in September in 2019. So there was no sign of a pandemic. I remember people talking in hushed tones about the coronavirus and people making jokes about the corona. You know, in England we have the corona was a really bad make of fizzy pop. And people making jokes about that, and ho the coronavirus, let's get physical, or whatever the tagline was for that product. Thinking, yeah, this isn't a thing, is it really? And then I remember heading towards the end of the year, it just started being more, you know, and we started writing in September, and then we kind of did another writing session in February just before it all blew up. And and no, I mean, obviously, I think that the thing we both agree. I mean, I remember when Jem suggested we go away somewhere and write together, because we did write 2 songs on the previous album, and we did that at Jem's house. And I remember him suggesting to me, with less distractions around and a sort of sense of focus, we'd get more done, which we really did. And we were there for the first session in Cornwall, in the West Country. We did 6 days, and I think we got the bare bones for 5 songs down, you know, just the basics, you know. Obviously after that point, Jem took all the songs back to the lab and sort of you know, went into the production value of it, which is, you know, when they kind of, you know, really got fleshed out, and all the but the basics of the song, the verse, the chorus, and the vocal top line, and the basic, the rhythmic structure and whatnot, were all sort of achieved on those writing sessions. Sorry?
The rhythmic structure. What's
the rhythmic structure?
Exactly.
It's the rhythm method. That's what it is. No. There was no sign of any pandemic, but I do remember, we agreed that we kept talking about the bands that we loved growing up, like, Tears for Fears and the Police. We both, everybody in the band is a massive, but that's our sort of, that's if there was a Venn diagram of myself, Nathan, and Jem, there's a little area in the middle where we all love the Police, and we really all do love the Police.
Okay, so it wasn't Jane Child. That wasn't the one that in the Venn diagram there. Is that just Jem?
Sadly, not. That was me. I did that on the Raging of the Dying Against the Light in '98, where it was in the last album. That was my Jane Child Zenith.
Okay.
With the bass line.
Yeah. Interesting.
But Nathan tends to like a lot of yacht rock. I like a bit of yacht rock. Do you remember when I said to you, Mark, when I want to be on that boat in Chicago, listening to Chicago? Do you remember
Yeah.
So type in Google into Google.
That's an IT crowd joke, by the way.
It is. Yeah, all right. Okay. Nothing of it plagiarism can't help.
I thought maybe you didn't know that. So
no, I'm a big fan of that show.
Yeah, me too.
But no, we as I say, and that was the first writing session. We got quite a lot done there. To be honest with you, I remember saying to Jem at the time, I'm absolutely terrified. What if we have writer's block?
Jem
just said, well, it's okay. There's plenty of pubs around here.
All it'll take is a Peter Cetera video or two. If I know John.
Oh yeah, man. I saw him at the Barbican. He was remarkable. He's still got the voice. I mean, yes, it's I became a bit. I remember talking to Jem about it many times about David Foster. I became a bit obsessed with David Foster in Chicago and Peter Cetera.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then going back to Frost, obviously. The second writing session was in Dungeness, which is a little spit of land that comes down from the south coast of England. It's not far from Hastings and whatnot. And it's kind of basically Jem rented a Coast Guard's lookout tower, which is and it was about 20 meters from the sea, and because it's right on the end of this little sort of nub of land, a very panoramic view of the sea in every direction. And then there was a nuclear power station 200 meters that way, and there was a lighthouse, and it's just a very barren sort of post-apocalyptic, nightmarish kind of a place, but a very, very kind of very sort of inspiring in some ways. And that we got, it was just really, really, it really informed the writing, that the sort of claustrophobic nature of some of the two songs that we came away with from that session.
Awesome. So, I mean, I've had the album for a little bit, not as long as I'd like. And
how many times have you listened to it, Mark?
2. I got it yesterday.
Another 6 required immediately.
It certainly is, and then some time in between. I really like to have some time in between.
Yes, I need like a long time in between.
Like twice, and then never again, and then maybe one more time somewhere in between and never. But it really starts off. I really enjoy how it starts off, and then I think "Kill the Orchestra" is actually my favorite track right now. Do you guys have a favorite track? I love asking that question. It's such a crappy question.
For me, it's the title track at the moment.
Title track, yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Well, I think that the opening. Well, that's an nice 11-minute track, and I noticed that you guys are not shy about your epics there, and you got a little bit of both here, which is very typical of your work. And guys, if there's one thing that I could ask you too, a little bit off topic, is I got to see. I bought this. You can't really see this T-shirt. Oh, but I just dropped my mic. Just dropped the mic.
Mic drop
is I got this Keep Calm and Mellotron shirt from a band called Defense of the Realm. I think played 2011 Summer's End.
That's right.
And was that kind of like I can't remember. Was that just kind of a let's get a few guys together and let's see what we can hash out between us? And because it seemed like it was you and Jem. I don't remember who else was on stage with you two.
No, that's the way I feel about them as well, Mark. They're dead to me.
Boy, I put that in a T.
Greg Mandel and Peter Wabbers.
As Pete was in that too. Wow, I can't believe I just talked with him. I can't believe I didn't mention that to him.
Well, he can't. He was quite confused by what was going on. We were all dressed in. I just remember we were dressed in wartime clobber, and there was like a war theme, and then there would. And I remember, and we had notes as to what we wanted to achieve throughout this gig, because it was kind of half like a review show in a way. It was kind of like half comedy and
That's
like
right.
Dad's Army and a prog rock concert rolled into one, you know.
That's right.
And they said this part of the show is where we take the piss out of Phil Collins.
Yeah, that's right.
Why are we doing that again? I'm like, it's a fair comment, and I feel bad about that now. But
I do remember Jem having something saved on his keyboard in regards to taking the piss out of Phil, but I can't remember what that was, to tell you the truth.
Well, we compiled some of the things that Phil had said over the years in interviews, and some of them were quite remarkable and they're quite quotable. And so I think Jem pre-programmed some of his keys with Phil quotes, and then we had like a pretend conversation with Phil.
That's right.
I must confess, I did edit some of them together. So Phil never at any point had 2,000 iPods on a white charger. That was my construction. Sorry, Phil.
The reason that came about was we wanted to do something a bit different. So before that, we did a thing called Esoteric Evening With, which was kind of like we were just mucking about. We had we set up a gentleman's club, and we were all dressed in sort of in waistcoats, and we had brandy on the go, and we're reading the newspaper, and we just kind of wanted it to be a bit sort of unusual. And it was we really enjoyed doing it. We only did 3 gigs, and and Nathan was involved, and we just thought we wanted to do a slightly bigger version of that. So that's the Defense of the Realm, which was another. Yeah, it's kind of thinking about it now. It's quite an unusual thing I remember having a meeting outside a pub called the Swan in Pangbourne, and what should we do next? Let's recreate the Second World War with and we had a what was it, the air raid siren going off, and everybody had to get down, and it was just quite an unusual thing.
Right.
I think fondly of it now.
Yeah, it turned in more like the ladies' club recreating the Second World War on Monty Python, right, with the purses in the mud pit, kind of thing. So
to be honest with you, I don't know. I've never seen a single Monty Python film.
Really?
So, no,
okay. Okay.
Well, I'm not just saying that to be like attention seeking, like I haven't seen Star Wars or something like that. I genuinely haven't. Actually, I have seen the one with Mr. Creosote. I've seen that one. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is actually. So, how do you guys get any work done when you're just going when you guys are like this all the time?
It is a struggle.
Well, we were remarkably focused, weren't we, in Cornwall? We were.
Sure.
We were. No, we kind of. Well, the thing about it is, it's a really enjoyable process. So, knuckling down to it isn't really a problem. I mean, we're a very good foil for each other, because John is very commit now. So what's brilliant is I'm a terrible procrastinator. I'll faff around and not do what I'm supposed to do. Whereas John, he in the morning, we had this ritual where John makes excellent bacon and egg sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
So he would get going in the kitchen, and then coffee would appear. He's an excellent host, I have to say.
Right.
And he'd be cooking away, and I'd be sat at the keyboard just noodling some stuff, and playing. And John, I'd occasionally hear, "Do that again!" in the kitchen. So we kind of, he's go. We're here to write some songs. Go. So it was brilliant for me, because it gave me confidence. I'm not a very confident songwriter or anything, and so therefore John was like, "That's good. Do this, add that," and then he'd come in and do some stuff, and then he'd sing or come up with some lyrics. And so the process was just a sort of joyous one. So it wasn't really, we do laugh and we lark about, but we enjoy it. We enjoy doing that bit of it. So it's kind of, it's not hard. It's not something that was a struggle, really.
It's got to be, I could say it's one of the most enjoyable experiences of my life, really. Just, it was such it's like a boy's adventure, really. It's like 2 boys on a school trip or something. But we just get to write music, and
right.
And it was such a beautiful. I mean, Cornwall. It was such a beautiful environment. And I just remembered, we'd work pretty. We'd knock it on the head about 9. And then we'd either go to the Rubber Dub, or we'd, get some supplies, and then we'd watch telly or watch a concert video, or just, talk about stuff. And, Jem and I have got very sort of similar interests in many ways, like we, like the same sort of bands, and we both like cars, and,
Right.
So yeah, it's you know, if there's a good camaraderie to begin with, then the music, you know, is you know, I've been in situations in the past where, you know, funny enough, you can't always, you know, even I tried writing some songs with John Wetton once, and it just didn't click. Something didn't click. You know, the sort of chord sequences that John sort of favoured were quite sort of church-like, you know, rising fifths and things like rising fourths, sorry, or falling fifths, or whatever you want to call it. Quite, you know, and sort of Tiesto Picardy, sus4 on the D, and you know, kind of like quite sort of baroque in some ways. And I just, you know, I don't kind of go in for that. So, like Jam said, we're a bit more from the John Barry camp of weird, sort of.
Right. Well, there's certainly a lot of weird going on, and textures and things. It's you know, it's I wasn't surprised to see that there were guest artists on this album, because you know, this is.
Well, you say artists, I call them drummers.
Drummers. Well, and there are 3 different drummers, correct? And you wrote to their strengths, I heard, and you've got a little bit different thing happening for those songs.
Just going to ask you, Jim, is it listed who plays on what song in terms of drummers? Oh, it is, because I said that make quite a fun game for the Billy Bunters to figure out who does what. But you know,
they'll work it out. It's they all brought a different style to things. It was this thing of, you know, when we were kind of when Craig was no longer with us, we decided we could turn that event into a strength. You know, rather than just getting somebody in and going, right, you're the drummer, drum. Well, we can have whoever we want, and that's we've never had that before. So we came up with a sort of, you know, we wrote some songs and say, oh, this would be, and we've always wanted to work with Pat Mastelotto. You know, we're huge fans of Mr. and we've always loved him. He's super cool. And we had met him briefly on the Cruise to the Edge.
Should we tell Mark about that?
Yeah, go for it.
Like, just very quickly. Sorry to interject, but I just remember we found that one of the things that you noticed about, if you want to be left alone, I'm not saying that, you know, we're big celebrities, don't come talk to us, you know, talk to the band.
John's approachable, everybody.
Like a bit of solitude on the Prague ferry. You go on the top deck where it's very sunny, and we kind of spent a bit of time up there playing golf, and there's like a mini golf course, and I myself, and at the time, you know, Craig was still playing for us at that point, and I remember sunbathing and obviously being stupid in English, not putting any lotion on the old legs, and I remember getting very badly sunburned. And then we had a gig to do that evening, or we'd done a gig, and my legs were throbbing, you know. And I remember standing in a lift after the gig, and then I was about to say National Lottery, sorry, Pat Mastelotto getting in the lift and going, I just saw you guys are amazing. And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. And I just literally walked off down the corridor. I'm thinking, that was Pat Mastelotto. I've just ghosted him, you know. I was in such pain. I didn't, you know, I should have, in hindsight, I just wish I'd have, great, Pat, let's go and get a drink, let's talk about stuff, you know. But he was, and then I think Joe and I said, let's go ask him if he fancies doing a couple of tunes, and you know, we just Jem emailed him, and he said yes, and I quite like the boldness of it, because it's kind of like, well, I think we should probably get it's like just get Elton John on the record, he'll do it.
Nice.
Stephen Wilson obviously had the same kahunas as we did that day. Well, apparently email went, Elton, I know that you like shopping, so I've got a VO I want you to do. That was it.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Sorry.
Yes.
So,
Jem, were you in the middle of snoring?
Yes.
I was. Sorry, I interrupted you.
The drummers, that's what I was just National Lottery. Sorry. They brought different things to the song, so it was kind of just a question of enjoying the process of a different sort of musical input. Each of them had a different style, so you know, we sort of say, well, that'd be great for this, you know, that'd be great for Kaz, that'd be great for Darby, this would be great for Pat. So it was kind of it was really interesting working with different drummers in a Frost context, because we've never had that sort of opportunity before. So we're always a band that really like to try different things and to move on and to try different things. Like, I think we realized today, chatting to somebody else earlier, that Day and Age is the first song we've ever done that has a fade on it. We've never done a fade.
Oh yeah, interesting.
In 14 years. And so it's kind of like we're sort of realizing that it is just an opportunity to just to keep things interesting, for us, I think, and hopefully for the people that listen to it as well.
Right. Well, I think that fans of Frost are not going to be disappointed. I know that can always be a harrowing thing, especially when your first album was I'm going to say almost iconic, and you're almost living up to that album.
We have a glow around our heads.
You do, absolutely. And so I'm looking forward to hearing that. Is this going to be available on what formats? Is it CD and download or vinyl, or what's going on with the release of this?
It's going to be. I've got to be careful what I say here because this is
okay. If I ask a loaded question, you can ignore it.
I would say yes. Yeah, I think yes. There's definitely vinyl because we've had it mastered.
Okay.
There's vinyl, there's CD, and I've done a whole load of FLAC 2448.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because somebody was asking about that the other day, and I thought, yeah, no, high res. It's we've been upgraded. Look at that. But you put more money in the meter, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right?
Yes, it's going to be available on all formats. It's going to be available on all formats, and
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a double CD version with instrumentals on it as well.
Interesting. So a karaoke version of the album.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. In case if you ever hear that there's a karaoke version, then the lead singer should be a little bit worried about being on the next album. That's always my
I never thought about that.
I went down a Google rabbit hole the other day, and I found a website.
Yeah.
That you can those websites about lyrics of
right.
tracks and stuff. I found a website that actually goes. It's like a forum of people discussing the meanings of lyrics, and Frost is on there.
Oh, really?
And it makes for some fascinating reading.
Well, they're going to have a field day with this one, then, aren't
they? Exactly.
There's one other question I thought I'd asking you while we were here. Do you think you guys work well together? Because, Jem, you were saying that, you lack a little bit of confidence in what maybe should go and what shouldn't go. And John doesn't fanny about, right? He to
use the English vernacular.
The English, I'm totally on the English thing.
Awesome.
Yeah. I can say lift and things like that. No problem. Have you?
You're so brave.
Exactly. Yeah, I moved on from wanker to a couple other things.
Is this going to be after 9 o'clock? This potty mouth fueled podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna have it on YouTube. It can only be viewed after 9 o'clock in your time zone. So do you guys think maybe you work well together? Because maybe John, you really have a laser focus about what you think is.
No, I mean we've both got laser focus. I think. Okay. I think the fact is, I mean, I had good. I think and I'm my good friend is here in the room, but this certainly is this is without a shadow of a doubt the album I will be most proud of ever having, well, until we make the next one or whatever happens next. But certainly out of all the things that I've ever been involved in, this is the thing that I'm most proud of. I know that in 10 years, I will still feel the same way about it. But, it's very easy. I mean, like albums that I've done in the past, I really, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but, there are albums like, at the time I thought, well, yeah, that's really quite good. But in hindsight, I think actually, no, I really can't, I can't, you just change your mind and be self-critical about things. And I can't say that everything that I've ever done was the greatest thing, much as I'd love to be that psychotically delusional. I think in hindsight, but this process with Jem is the most fun I've had writing with anybody. It really is. And I'm not just saying that because we're on this call together.
Right.
I would agree. I mean, it's. I think because we chose to go to these places and write in these environments, and we went on adventures really.
Mm.
And you said the boys own sort of, that kind of, that sense of it. As you've seen today on this, on this call, we do spend an awful lot of time crying with laughter, and so therefore it's sort of. Right. It was just such a happy time, it's such a happy experience, and something creative comes out at the end of it, and it's been. I agree with him. I mean, and I'm honoured that he says that, and I agree. It's the thing I'm proudest of, by miles.
Mm. It's and also when we were down in Cornwall, we were doing these podcasts every evening just to help sort of pass the time, which we had great fun making in this pretending makeshift pseudo pub.
Right.
Just coming up with silly ideas for what the pub should be called and what we, and yeah, it's just great. It's a really, really good experience. And then, of course, when we got to Dungeness, and we invited up Nathan one of the days, and he sat on a writing session. Then the next day, I think we decided that it would be good to do a photo shoot. So I think we did a shout out on Twitter. Does anybody know which one end of a camera from another works? And can you point it in vaguely the right direction of us, looking obviously, as sassy as we all are in our advancing years. And then we spent that next day either wandering from one pub to another, and this guy chasing around after us with a camera and larking about. It's just a really fun time, And then and Nathan lost his phone on the beach, and
no laptops were broken during the making of this particular album.
Surprisingly few. Only 3 or 4, I think. Surprisingly.
Death by red wine.
Awesome, guys. I think I'll leave it there and let you guys get on your way. I want to thank you for your time. The album's called Day and the Age.
No, Day and Age. If only there was some sort of massive poster behind you, Mark.
I know. I was kind of my head's in the way. Day and the Age. Frost Day and the Age. There.
There's no "the" in it. No, promise.
People have called it. We've had it
and
called
Age.
Day. Was it Night and Day? We've had it called Time
Night
and
Day.
So someone else called it that. It's fine.
Exactly.
It's there or thereabouts.
Yeah, I'm so bad with that sometimes, I'll tell you. So what's the best place for people to get it? First of all, I want to mention that the website is frost.live. And
Life.
Well, that's good. Is it really?
No, it's frost.life. It definitely is.
Okay. All right, very good. And
you can buy Day and the Age from
Frost.live.
And where's the best place for people to purchase this? You guys are Inside Out, so I think it doesn't really matter as far as places as far as getting it the most money towards the band, or does it? Is there a Bandcamp site, or is anything in particular people should go to?
No, unfortunately not. We're not allowed that sort of thing. So no.
I think that if they want to acquire a slightly offensive postcard, they can visit Burning Shed. I think the pre-orders come with a signed postcard by all of us.
Or you can come to either of our houses and give us the cash, and then we'll give you the album.
Give me cash. Okay, and do I get like a receipt then?
No, you don't.
No, you don't. No, you can't write it off as business expense, I'm afraid, Mark.
Jack is king.
Well, I just want to know if I can return it or not. It's a gift.
No. What you can do with them is you can tie them up on bits of string, and they're very good at repelling birds off your peas.
Awesome.
Or a nice commemorative coaster featuring Peter Capaldi.
Yes. I have made posters of album covers already. They're very nice.
By the way, Mark, did you know that 45% of all vinyl manufactured never actually gets played? It just sits on people's walls as glorified artwork.
I do know that, which is why when bands on my label I make them, I always make them a color vinyl, because that's how they like to display the color vinyl. And I found that the black vinyl is nowadays not any better quality than the color vinyl. It was true for maybe 20 years or more, but now I think they're equivalent. Do you agree with the color vinyl being as good or not? Any or have any opinion at all?
I suppose it depends what color you like, really. I mean, if you gave me one in aquamarine, I'd probably buy it, but I wouldn't go near a pink one.
Well, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the sound,
Oh, the sonics. Does it have a bearing on the sonics? I don't think it does it?
I don't think it does.
The weight of the vinyl makes a difference. I know.
Yeah, always 180 gram is what I like to do as well. And so, do you know what the parameters of your vinyl is? I know. When I ask this question, a lot of times the bands don't know.
It's 180 or maybe 162. I don't know. One of those.
Okay.
Cool. It's business class vinyl.
Business class vinyl. All right. Super good. Hey guys, thanks for your time. Hang with me for 1 second. We're gonna sign off now, and we'll be back. We'll be back in a jiff.
There's 5 blocks behind you.
Yeah, I'm getting in the way a little bit of the thing.
There you go. That's perfect.
But, yeah, me out of the picture is perfect.
Right. Well, where do we? Yes, fair enough. 5 Peter Capaldis.
Yes. Hang on 1 second. Let me get myself a little bit organized now. You guys are here.
12th Doctor was cool. I don't care what anybody says. The 12th Doctor was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I love Capaldi. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
Maybe the writing wasn't for him. You know, that first season was written for Matt Smith, so maybe.
Well, interestingly, they did. Remember that one where he got miniaturized and went into the Dalek? There was a thing where they were talking to the script writer, and he said, "Who am I writing this for?" And Moffat said, "Write it for Tom Baker." So if you watch that episode with that in mind, it's Tom Baker. He's saying all Tom Baker lines. It's brilliant.
Awesome. I mean, that's my guy in America. They were playing those 7 years.
You can see there he is.
Nice.
I've got him in the studio every day. I look at him. He's just here.
And how does that affect the music?
I think it helps. I mean, I've got the Cybermen. You can see this. It's all.
Oh here. Yeah, the Cyberman here. That's great. Is John going to get some?
Hang on a minute. Hang on.
Okay.
I'm not going to be outdone here. I refuse.
Right, you fuckers. Hang on a minute. Right, hang on.
Oh shit! This is unbelievable.
There we go.
Right, fucking beat that.
Beat that.
Oh no!
I'm gonna.
That is beautiful.
He's raised the bar. Okay, I can't beat that.
I do have the scarf, I will say. And you know, when I was 10 watching those, oh nice, Davros. So get this, I avoided the Davros spoiler for the season finale the whole time, and then of course in the 2 seconds prior to
Right, this is going well.
All right. Hey, so when can we buy the new album? We're done.
I didn't know this was going to be a Doctor Who. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh, you've got more than one Cyberhead.
3.
And yeah, actually, the third one is the craziest one.
Yeah.
So check that out.
Jesus.
Here it comes.
Oh yeah.
Circuit bent, so you can plug audio into it in the back and manipulate stuff. Oh, it's proper.
Nice.
Anyway, so I've never seen Doctor Who. Is it any good?
So